In this video, I'm going to talk about all the different ways that you can earn money working from home by running your own business, by providing a service for people as a freelancer, as a solopreneur. I know many of you are at home, working from home because your employer probably sent you home and you have to work at home. And you're starting to realize the potential challenges that come with that, especially if you have kids and if you're not used to working at home, you don't have your own space for it. I've been working at home for 5 years, running my own business, and I've learned a lot about how to make it work when I have 2 kids, and sometimes things can get pretty chaotic around here. And being able to separate my work and home life has been a learning process for me, so that I can still get things done, so that I'm productive. And I'm sure you've been given all sorts of different guidance or regulations from your company that you work for on how to work at home. But if you're ever considering going the self-employment route, and if you're ever considering freelancing and starting your own business online where you can work from home and provide a service through the internet for people, how is that even possible? What different ways, what different platforms are out there? How does that happen? Because when I tell people that I work from home running my own business, and I say that I help people with YouTube channels and I help people with their video marketing, I'm always getting a question mark from them on how are you doing this? And you're doing it full time? And you've been doing this full time for years? And so I've realized that it's very few people know just how much opportunity is out there for starting your own business and working from home. I'm not talking about the kind of business where you have to go buy office space and find a bunch of investors and invent something and sell some product. I'm talking about the kind of business where you have almost no overhead. You work out of your home office, and it's just you. You don't have employees, and maybe when you get big enough, you might hire some contractors to come help out with stuff, and you might form an agency. But overall, your only overhead is a computer, which you likely already have, and the internet, which you likely already have. And then you just need to have a specific talent and skill that you can offer as a service to businesses, usually mostly businesses if you want more stability, but you can also provide a service to just individuals. And so what are the options out there for working at home? How do you even make that happen? So first of all, there's freelancing platforms. So you have things like Upwork, which is the platform that I'm on. Usually you tend to pick one platform and then you stick with it because it takes time to get momentum going and to build up a profile and to build up work history, and it's difficult to manage more than one platform. But you have freelancer.com, Fiverr if you're in the creative industry and you're okay to just offer flat rate services where you're maybe designing a logo or you're doing a voiceover. I hire people on Fiverr sometimes, fiverr.com. If you're a graphic designer, video editor, photo editor, there's even other business marketing services starting to show up on Fiverr. My platform of choice is Upwork, just because I feel like it gives the most options for being able to build up a real business where people know your name. I think Fiverr, people usually have usernames, so you don't really connect with the person directly, whereas on Upwork, you have a personal profile that has your name, and businesses and clients can actually connect with you directly, and they can see your website if you give it to them. But it does take time to get started on these platforms. You have to create a profile, you got to get approved, and then you just have to start applying to jobs that are posted on that marketplace. So these are usually called freelancer marketplaces. There's many of them where tons of businesses are constantly posting jobs on these freelancer marketplaces. They're looking for contractors to take on those jobs, and you go and you submit proposals, and then they, if they want to interview you, then they respond to your proposal, and you start to message each other back and forth, and then hopefully get on a phone call or a video chat, and then find clients. And I've spent several years on Upwork, and for the first 2 years, it took a little more time I wasn't committing enough to it, so it took me a while to get going. But there's still room. There's still room for new people on Upwork, especially if you can niche down and have a very specific service that you're providing to a specific audience. That will give you the biggest opportunity in being able to come into that space and be seen as an expert in a very specific, particular area, opposed to trying to be a jack of all trades. You'll struggle more. Now that's kind of the freelancer marketplace option, and there's other companies like Upwork that provide that same thing, and that's where essentially I got my start in finding clients all over the country and some all over the world, is through these freelancer marketplaces, and I still get some income from these freelancer marketplaces from specifically Upwork. But the other options has to do with just the traditional networking. You go to local networking events, you meet people, you tell people what you do, and hopefully you network with some business owners, and eventually you're able to find clients that way. And you have to learn networking skills, you have to learn sales skills, and that's for another video as far as what does that networking conversation look like. And networking in person. Obviously, with everything going on now, networking in person is not an option, but I've never been a huge fan of networking in person anyways. I've always done 90% of my networking online through LinkedIn. You have to have a LinkedIn profile if you expect to start an online business and start finding clients online and working from home. And you build up that profile, you connect with a bunch of people on LinkedIn. You don't try to just sell to people, you build relationships, and eventually you start getting clients through that area, through online networking. And again, I'm not going into specific networking skills in this video, but LinkedIn is another platform you have to be on if you want to connect with a ton of different businesses and be able to find clients and just network remotely through connecting with people, messaging them, building that relationship, posting content to show people that you're an expert in that space. LinkedIn is a great space to be able to do that. It's a lot less competitive than things like Facebook, plus LinkedIn is focused on professional people and on career advancement, and so it's my platform of choice when it comes to building your career over things like Facebook that really isn't intended for that. And then an app called Shapr is another thing I've used to do remote networking, where you swipe through profiles, and if you want to connect with somebody, you click the check mark, and then if they also want to connect with you, they click the check mark, and they just kind of randomly will push profiles to your feed. And so it's kind of a cool way of connecting with people where it's not so direct, because the app itself is just surfacing profiles to you, and you don't know whether that person wanted to connect with you or not until it shows that it's a match, and it means you both happen to want to connect with each other. It's a little more of an indirect way of connecting, which I found can be pretty effective, but that's grown a lot in the last couple of years since I first got on Shapr. It used to be a new company, and that's a great way to start building connections. Say, hey, let's get on a 15-minute call and get to know each other and see if we can help each other out, see if we can collaborate on something. I've found clients through Shapr, and it's a great way to spend a few minutes a day going through Shapr, connecting with people, building those relationships. That's another app that really does help you get your at-home business started. And on top of those things, so you have the freelancer marketplaces, you have LinkedIn, you have Shapr, and the last thing I'm going to discuss is just creating a basic website. Don't get hung up on trying to create this advanced, really nice looking pro website from the get-go. I spent too much time trying to finesse my website before I actually just went out and found clients. And it's amazing how many clients you can get without a website, especially when you use things like a freelancer marketplace like Upwork. That almost replaces having to have a website at first. But having a basic website with just an about page and a portfolio of your work and a basic description of your services is really great, so that you can start showing up on Google. And so you can send people somewhere when they ask more about what you do. You can send them to a place that gives a good little showcase of your work. Things like Squarespace, Wix are really cheap ways that you can start a website for only like $20 a month, and it helps you build the website yourself, so you don't have to hire a programmer, and it looks really nice. I have a Squarespace website, and it just looks nice because the themes are already done for you, and that's great as well. So those are some different options for working at home, and as you explore all the tools that are out there, you'll realize just how much opportunities there is out there to work at home, that there are more businesses than ever before who are hiring contractors for so many different jobs that used to only be employee jobs. And so I'm going to go in future videos, I'm going to go into more detail into just how much opportunity is out there and where the trend is going, obviously now with everything going on with remote work and hiring contractors for things. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video.